briefly. And I say briefly because I'm just going to go over a few things that came to my mind over the, say, past 60 days from now going back. First of all, because let me also say that my conversation is really a communal conversation because I'm more or less going to ask a few questions and we need to get into a few arguments here intellectually. Number one, for the past, well, since I came into the industry in 1986, I've been attending meetings hosted by BAM for this, maybe not exact same theme, but the theme of unifying hip hop as a culture, unifying artists, and having them organized in a fashion where they can control their political power, control their economic power, their creative power, et cetera, et cetera. What has happened is that over the past few years, BAM would get everyone together. We'd all come in a room, we say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Next day, we're gone, and nothing happens. This has happened over and over again. I've seen artists who will scream, BAM, Zulu Nation, Zulu, yeah, Zulu. And then the anniversary comes around, they're nowhere to be found. In my opinion, you know, I feel as though that in the scheme of African thought, we always paid respects to our elders, and not that you're an elder, BAM, but we always paid respect to the people who have come before us, meaning that we could not have been in the situation that we're in unless we at least show acknowledgement. Sometimes that acknowledgement is shown through money, sometimes that acknowledgement is shown through just basic respect, just, yo, I recognize, and that's it. Today, the hip hop community is dying because we fail to have this kind of respect. And it's not a matter of any of us going and saying, okay, Africa Bambaataa is God, Kool Herc is God, we gotta kneel to these icons, et cetera, et cetera. It's not on that level. It's on the level of, before we decided to pick up a mic, pick up a turntable, matter of fact, before we knew what it was, these gentlemen were out there doing this and doing that. And we do it differently now. They did it one way, Flash does it another way, Theodore does it another way, Herc does it one way. Then you got Run DMC and LL, and they do it their way. Then it's Eric B. and Rakim and KRS ONE, Bismarck, and they do it their way. Now we're coming into a new phase in hip hop, which has to do now with the world is doing it their way. And the difference between what has happened then and what is happening now is that for the first time in hip hop history, hip hop is no longer a New York-based thing. And I don't say that to say that it isn't. I'm saying that to say that the reality of what I look at now is that when you go to Japan, right, the Japanese kids are, I'm hip hop. I'm hip hop. You are not. I am. You're in my country now. And you can't tell me that you're not. You can't tell me that I'm not. You go to Germany, this, that, and the other. California, Oakland, or California, the South, Miami, et cetera, et cetera. My point is that hip hop is running away from us before our very eyes. And I used to always wonder years ago, I used to always say, wow, what was Chubby Checker and Chuck Berry and the Supremes, what were they doing to now have like a Nirvana, and if you see a black rock group now, you're amazed. Right. Wow, a black rock, Living Color, wow, they're black and they do rock. That's like an amazement. When in actuality, again, I don't have to go into that, but we again are the originators of that art form as well. The point here in starting this discussion is that, number one, what I see going on in hip hop is that it's the same thing that went on in rock and roll, but we have a chance to stop it. We're allowing things to happen. we're just allowing certain things to just happen, and we're just watching them and saying, yeah, that's small. That really don't affect us. That's small too. That really don't affect us. Then, as much as I respect John Schechter and the Source for what they've done in rap, now we have John Schechter doing an award, giving us awards for our creativity. Now, let me be very clear in what I'm saying, because this is in no way a demise or a disrespect to the Source or any magazine for that matter. Could have been any magazine. But the point here is that everyone is giving themselves the ability to define our creativity. And the point here of this discussion, or the point that I'd like to interject, is to, for once and for all, define hip-hop. Hip-hop as the lifestyle, as the energy, as the way of life, as the organized way of life. And do it in a sense whereas we can put together a pamphlet or something. I don't want to call it rules, I don't want to call it regulations, but I mean, I guess during this conversation we'll come up with some name for it, but it should clearly define, and this is not a process that's going to take just today. This is the beginning. We're going to go on, and the purpose for you all to be here is to get several ideas as to what you think this certain question, how this question should be answered. If someone else disagrees, we should give everyone a chance to speak, of course, but ideas are created out of argument, out of, this is what I think it is. Why do you think it's like that? Maybe it could be like this, etc. So just to start it off, this book that I'm proposing is to be given to every record company and A&R person in the entire planet, the whole world. There's only a couple of thousand record companies that seem to be controlling our entire fate in their hand. There's only a couple of hundred magazines, only a couple of thousand television shows. If some sort of document or book or pamphlet can be put together that says, this is what hip hop is and this is what we think it should be. This book is not something that will last forever. It's like, it might even have to be revised every 2 or 3 years. This is what hip hop is now in 1997. This is what it is now in this, that, and the other. We're documenting it now in 1994 based on not having documented it since its conception. We have a whole broad range of people who have history in their minds, who have certain thoughts and are pushing the forum forward. And this is the purpose, actually, of one of the purposes of why you're here. Let me just end off and say also that this book, in my mind, will be backed up by force. And when I say force, it doesn't always mean physical, but it means that too. But it doesn't always mean that. It means political force. In other words, there's a point to make to the A&R people who are signing rap, the guys giving in their tapes. If you're gonna give in a tape and say, I'm in the rap, you have to define yourself. Are you gonna be a rap artist or are you gonna be a hip hop artist? Because if you say you're gonna be a hip hop artist, well, this little book here put together by the minds of people in hip hop is what you should know. This will also weed out who's not down and who really is. In addition to that, we won't have these problems that hip hop is having because of rap artists. So this is the main focus of what I'm saying here today. So let me just